In this lesson, we'll explore additional resources you can use for support during the development process. In your career as an Android developer, there will be times when you'll be working late into the night, feeling a bit alone. Android is a large and complex system, and it's common for developers to encounter development and debugging challenges that they find difficult or impossible to solve by themselves. I've encountered challenges that took me anywhere from hours to a day or two to solve. At times like this, it's important to remember that there's a global group of Android developers contributing their insights and solutions and facing some of the same challenges you are. As this graphic shows, there are a number of resources available to Android developers. Q&A websites, internet search, conferences, meetups, books, tutorials. These can all contribute valuable information and assistance. In this lesson, I'm going to review some of my favorite resources, those I've used with success in solving some of the more challenging development issues I've faced. The first is Stack Overflow, located at stackoverflow.com. And this is a free Q&A website that covers a number of technologies, including Android. It's run by a dedicated management team and is part of Stack Exchange, which covers a broad range of topics, some of which are shown here. So let's see how we might use Stack Overflow. Let's say we're having some issue with the setContentView method in our first app. Maybe it's just not working. So we'll pull up Stack Overflow and we'll do a search on Android setContentView not working. Notice that the Stack Overflow folks are telling us to use a specific preface to platform terms such as setContentView. So I'll redo the search by simply putting a dash in here, and we see the results. Each result line shows a title, a summary description, a date when it was asked, the source, person who asked it, tags associated with the question, favorable votes, number of answers, and the number of views it's had. And we can also sort by relevance, as we are sorted right now, the age by the newest, the number of votes, or recent activity. And let's use relevance. And this first entry looks pretty promising. Android setContentView not working, just what we put in as a question. So let's click on this one, and we get this. First, the full question, possibly with code examples as we see here, followed by comments from other developers, followed by answers from developers. In this case, there are 4. And you can sort these answers on activity, oldest, or votes. And we'll use votes. So let's look at the first answer. We see that this developer is saying that the questioner might be using the setContentView method in the wrong place and suggesting a change in the code, moving the setContentView statement to this position here, above the TextView and setText statements. And I can tell you from personal experience that having the setContentView method in the wrong place does, in fact, cause problems. Below the answer, we see a long sequence of helpful discussion about this answer from developers. What I like to do when I'm using resources like this is find a handful of solutions and then pull out what seems to be the best approach or combination of approaches. It's my experience that you'll find a wide spectrum of quality in responses, from excellent to, shall we say, not so good. If you want to research the history of a developer, you can click on the name and you'll see a lot of information about the person, the answers that they've offered, a measure of their reputation, the questions that they've asked, tags associated with their questions, the Stack Exchange accounts that they have, the badges that they've been awarded, the bounties being offered, and a bounty is reputation points offered for answers to questions. This elaborate system of measurements encourages developers to participate and offer the best answers they can. My suggestion is you start participating in Stack Overflow now. You might even use it to research topics as we go through this course. And even if you're not an expert at all of Android, you might be able to contribute comments or answers on topics you learn about as you progress in developing your Android skill set. To sign up, click on Register and go from there. Now let's move on looking at some other development resources. Another excellent resource for developers is meetups. These are meetings of developers held in cities and towns around the world that cover a huge variety of topics and are an obvious way to meet other developers. One I attend is the San Francisco Android User Group, shown here. You can research meetups on meetup.com. In this graphic, I'm showing a search I did for Android meetups near Paris. And once you get going in your Android development career, I'd encourage you to consider contributing to a meeting. For example, I made a presentation to the San Francisco group on Android Market Search. This was before Google changed the name of their market to Google Play, but the concepts remain the same. If you'd like to watch it, follow this link in the lower left. Another great resource is the Google I/O conferences held each year in San Francisco. There are always a number of Android sessions. If you can't make it to San Francisco, don't worry. You can access video for all the sessions on YouTube. Just search YouTube for Android Google I/O. So that's a quick overview of some additional resources you can use as you progress through your Android development career.